Hello, friends. Today I'll tell you about the cartoon The Monkey King. Give us a like if you enjoy our videos. Sun Wukong, known as the Monkey King, possessed incredible strength. One day, he caused a pogrom in the heavenly palace. This displeased the immortal marshal Tianping. He sent his best warriors against Wukong, but he defeated them all, even the marshal himself. Falling to the ground, Tianping transformed into a pig demon. When the Monkey King routed the imperial army, Buddha appeared to him. He was enraged by Wukong's disrespect for the ruling class. Buddha stripped the Monkey King of his powers and imprisoned him in a block of ice deep within the mountain. 500 years passed. The father of a boy named Luo told him the tale of the Monkey King many times. The boy even had a Wukong doll. But one day, Luo lost his loving parents. While they were walking along a mountain path, monsters appeared and attacked the people. They heard Luo's cries and rushed to kidnap him. But his father stood up for his son and paid the price. Seeing her husband's lifeless body, Luo's mother threw herself off the cliff with him, lest her child fall into the hands of the monsters. The woman fell into the river and died, but the boy managed to escape. As he floated past the old monk Fa Ming on the wreckage, he pulled the boy from the water and took him in to raise him. Several years later, when Luo grew up, Fa Ming introduced him to the monastic life. He needed to beg for alms. But the boy was more interested in a puppet show about the Monkey King. When the old and young monks arrived in town, monsters attacked. They stole children and carried them off to their evil master. However, Luo couldn't accept this. He rescued a little girl and escaped with her from one of the monsters. A series of dizzying adventures led them to the mountains. But here, too, the green monsters caught up with them. Luru was forced to hide in a cave. There he discovered a block of ice bound with chains. The boy touched it, awakening the Monkey King trapped within. Only Wukong was now an ordinary monkey, devoid of magical powers. But that didn't stop him from dealing with the monsters. He spared Luo, and the boy followed him closely. He stuck to the Monkey King like a leaf of water, and the Monkey King couldn't shake the annoying boy off. All his thoughts were consumed by the bracelet that contained his power. It was the Buddha's seal, unbreakable. Even the stones shattered into tiny pieces when the Monkey King struck the bracelet with them. Entering the gorge, the travelers encountered the mountain god, whom Buddha had ordered to guard Wukong. When he fled, the mountain god became enraged and attacked him. During the fight, Wukong noticed a talisman on his opponent's back. If torn, it could cause the stones to crumble. But he couldn't do it. And then Luo came to the rescue. He tore off the paper, and the mountain god was defeated. A boy fell into the ravine with him. He crashed into the river, from where the Monkey King pulled him out. Meanwhile, in the villain's lair, a dark demon plotted to destroy Wukong. He transformed his two henchmen into humans and sent them to set a trap. By the time Luo came to, Wukong had already caught a huge fish for them. The girl Luo had saved also survived. The boy set out to bring her home. He also wanted to find Foming, and to do so, he needed a protector and guide. Luo was sure the Monkey King would keep him company. The curious boy poked his nose where it didn't belong. So, when he ventured deeper into the forest and saw an old temple, he went inside. There, the boy spotted a creature that reminded him of Buddha. But it turned out to be an ordinary pig with magical powers. His name was Zhu Bais. He could transform into various creatures and demonstrated his skill to Liuru. Confronted by the Monkey King, the pig tried to scare him, but was hit with a slap and calmed down. He remembered how he had encountered him 500 years earlier as Tianpeng, and how he had been cast down to earth, after which he became a demon pig. Wukong left, and Luo chased after Baze, who had become a fat cat. He thought the cat knew where Wukong had gone. And he did indeed bring the boy to the Monkey King. Pig was afraid of him, and the Monkey King thought the fat man wanted to fight him. As Wukong prepared for battle, the boar transformed into Luo. At that moment, they had a more serious problem. A huge dragon spotted them and tried to devour them. However, Wukong protected his new friends and drove the dragon away. They continued on together, and as they made their way to their destination, famine came towards them. He couldn't accept Luo's disappearance, so he set out for the villain's lair to free him. By sunset, the friends arrived at a tavern, where monsters transformed into humans were in charge. They were preparing a trap for the Monkey King, but everything went wrong. Badzay needed to use the restroom, so he burst in, knocking the door off its hinges, and then smashed one of the monsters on the head. His partner was trampled under the door, but she managed to escape and regain her composure. When the guests asked for a place to stay for the night, she led them to a spare room, and while the Monkey King conversed with the boy, the monsters decided to discuss their plan. Pig was only pretending to sleep, but in reality, he was preparing to sneak out of the bedroom, but was confronted by the owners of the establishment. Badzay transformed into one of them and discovered that monsters were hiding behind the human guise. When he learned this, Wukong stepped in. He, too, exposed the deception and decided to give the villains a beating. But reinforcements arrived, and while Wukong fought them, the monster woman chased after Luo. She wanted to take the girl he was guarding. At that very moment, an ominous cloud appeared over the tavern. The villain Hong Dong was nearby. Luo fought bravely and managed to escape his enemies. Pig also left the tavern, but they did not abandon the Monkey King in his misfortune. Having waited for him, they saw the evil demon casting a spell. Wukong knew he couldn't defeat this creature and needed to flee immediately. He ordered his friends to hide on the boat while he fought off a horde of enemies who wanted to take the girl from Luo. There were indeed many monsters, but Wukong managed to protect his men and allowed them to sail away from the shore. He then joined them, but worse was yet to come. The villain knocked the Monkey King out of the game, then boarded the boat and captured the little girl. Luo tried to stop him and paid the price. He nearly lost his life. The Monkey King noticed this and came to the boy's defense. He grabbed a bamboo stick and rushed into battle, but the villain easily stopped him. Realizing Wukong posed no threat, he blew up the boat and sped away, taking the girl with him. Luo, the Monkey King, and Badzay sank to the bottom. However, they managed to swim to shore. Then Wukong gave up on saving the girl and decided to abandon his friends. Luo couldn't believe his hero would do such a thing. He burst into tears and set out to find her himself. During his wanderings, he encountered two monsters and followed them. Meanwhile, the Monkey King tried to regain his former strength and almost succeeded, but his attempt only weakened him. Wukong fell from the cliff into the water. Memories of the boy and his past life flooded him. Finally, he realized he had to save the girl and Luo. Badzay had been by his side the entire time, but at some point he decided to leave his friend. As he was about to leave, the Monkey King called out to him and invited him to join him. While they searched for Hundun's lair, Law devised a way to sneak past the monsters undetected. He disguised a piece of wood to resemble the monster and entered the caves where Hundun was located. The villain was planning to sacrifice the kidnapped children to gain immense magical power. An eclipse was approaching, the time when this ritual had to be performed. Law was spotted by the monsters who had previously disguised themselves as humans in the tavern. The boy fell into a hole and got stuck, and they were already preparing to grab him. Law was saved by his teacher. They escaped and found the kidnapped children. However, their appearance was noticed by Hundun. He ordered the boy's capture. But it was too late. The cage containing the children, which Law and the teacher had clung to, accelerated and burst out. They stopped at the edge of the cliff, and the villain decided they couldn't escape. He grabbed the boy and began to strangle him. The eclipse had already begun, but the magical ritual was still unsuccessful. A dragon appeared, bringing with it Wukong and Badzai. The pig grew in size and pounced on the villain, but he was turned into a piglet and tossed aside. Then the Monkey King stepped in. Catch your tombstone. Hundun fought with all his might and nearly overpowered Wukong, but he simply couldn't lose, because if he gave in, the children would be lost. So he gathered his last strength and dealt his enemy a crushing blow. The Monkey King hurled Hundun into the abyss, but then a total solar eclipse began, and a huge monster burst forth from the ravine. It was Hundun, transformed. He and Wukong began fighting again, but this time the monster proved much stronger. He chased the Monkey King into a crevice and tried to crush him with a rock. Seeing this, Law rushed to his idol's aid. However, he pretended to have everything under control. The boy tried to distract the monster, and succeeded. Hundun attacked Law, and Wukong rushed to his aid, but he was too late. The monster's blow missed its target, but the boy was showered with rocks. When the Monkey King found him, Law could only move his arm, after which it went limp. Wukong realized he had failed to save his friend. He was consumed by a righteous anger that transcended all boundaries. His rage allowed him to break the Buddha's seal and unleash the power of the Monkey King. Sun Wukong was transformed, regaining his true form and creating from flame the staff that Law had so longed to see. With it, the Monkey King struck with tremendous force, severing Hundong's limbs. However, the monster refused to give up and continued the fight. Then Wukong killed it, channeling all the rage he was feeling at that moment into the staff. Faming and the rescued children remained behind him. After overthrowing Hundun, the Monkey King heard the boy's voice calling out to him. Wukong was relieved that Law was unharmed, his wounds had been treated, and he himself was wrapped in bandages. He returned home in this form. The kidnapped children were returned to their parents, and Law and Faming went to see the puppet show about the Monkey King, which the boy loved so much. One of the monsters, now human, also showed up. Having assumed his usual form, he frightened the onlookers. Badzai was there too, only in the form of a fly.